Hello, all. It's Susan Winter. Thank you for coming to another one of my live shows. What I love about this so much, I get to interact with all of you. I get to answer your questions. We have Gwyneth here today as our moderator. B is in a professional conference, and this keeps it a safe place for all of us. And today, I'm going to tell you 10 reasons why they lost interest and why they are not what you think. I am also wearing my t-shirt to remind you that when you know you are doing an excellent job in the relationship, you're showing up, you're being clear about what you want, you are moderate in your reactivity, you're working things out, you're a good communicator. When you know that, hey, I did my part and something happens, you gotta say to yourself, it's not me, it's you, okay? Thank you everyone for coming today. We've got Brian Pablo, we have Katerina, we have Ancia here, we have, let's see who else, Rahul, how are you doing? Stacy, who else came in here? Okay, if I missed you, I'm sorry. Let's see, no, I think Nicoletta. Nicoletta, I haven't spoken to since we did the program How to Make Love Work for You, and man, did she know how to make love work for her. So let me begin today with talking about the situation that many of you find yourself in, and don't be afraid to put your question in super chat. You had something with somebody, you're dating them, you're seeing them, maybe you were even in a relationship. Everything seems to be going well, and then they start backpedaling, they drop off, or you are in that horrible juncture right now where you actually feel them losing interest in you. And you know it's happening and you don't know how to fix it. My greatest fear from all of the video requests that I get and all of the people that I work with is that you are going to go to the natural assumption that we all go to, which is, I'm undesirable. I guess they don't find me attractive. Oh my God, I'm not enough. Something about me is defective, unwanted. I displease them. I'm not hot enough. I'm not whatever interesting enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not rich enough. I'm not successful enough. Wherever your head goes. And it's not always that. So let us at least have a balanced perspective. It could be they just got to know you and didn't like you. That exists. But more times than not, it is one of these 10 factors. So I'd like you to remember this when you're going through it, when you're struggling, trying to make sense of why it happened, going over every conversation and reviewing it in your mind and wondering, where did I mess up? Where did I lose them? Because I've watched all of you go through this, and I did it myself some 20 plus years ago when I didn't know what I'm talking about now. Well, more than that, actually. But, I didn't know. And I'd be scouring through the text message. Like, what did I say? Did I irritate them? Did I say something wrong? Did they take this the wrong way? No. So let me start now. And everyone, thank you so much for showing up. I love you. Jillian, hi here, hon. How are you doing? So nice to have you all here. And Jillian calls us all Susanites. I am thrilled to have my Susanites here today. And the people whose name you see in color, that means they're part of my YouTube membership program. And if you want to do that, you can check out where it says join. So here's the thing. Number one, these are Susan rules, okay? I don't know whether you're going to hear this someplace else or not. One, they never intended on sticking around. They came in for what I call a taste. Do you realize that in online dating, if people actually write, hey, I just want to hook up for a while and get a feel for it and then bail, you know they're not going to get any responses by quality people. So people that are looking to hook up, unless they're on some specific app where it is just about that. Sometimes they are very straightforward and say, hey, look, I don't do relationships. I just want to have a good time. I know both men and women will do this, and they're very clear about what their expectations are. But for the most part, I have noticed if you trace back these people and you can find a profile where they use the same photo or even the same name for themselves, you go onto another app and you find them looking just for sex. So what happens is, not that that's wrong. If that's what you want, that's great. But 9 times out of 10, if somebody wants what I would refer to as a higher caliber partner, somebody a little bit more substantial, not fly by night, they will pose as though they are looking for a relationship. Doesn't mean they have the skill set, doesn't mean they're capable, but they will tell you that. It's more of an aspiration than an actual comment, you know. So remember, they're probably going to say that, yes, I'm looking for my soulmate. And there's a churn in all of their prospective dates. So one, they never really intended to stay, okay? They just wanted to date you, wanted to see what you were like, and it was going to happen anyway. And in that way, it is not about you. It's them, okay? Number 2, like I said, they just wanted a taste. There are people who just do short term. And we've come to a point in history where people don't even understand what a relationship is. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. I called, until a few years ago, I called a short-term relationship 2 years. That was my short-term relationship. People are now referring to it as in like 3 weeks or a month, right? So, you know, when you've done decades with a person, or you've been really living together and really involved, it's just, you know, you do 10 years, you do 7 years. I thought a 2-year relationship or 1.5 years is what I called short term. These are now long-term relationships. Remember during COVID, especially my Europeans here, when you could maybe get into a country by saying you were in a long-term relationship, and I nearly fell over. 2020 is 6 months. So the window of what we consider long-term has shortened according to people's ability to stay focused. This is like a major ADD, emotional ADD, where people cannot focus on one person. Basically, when it gets hard, they want to bail. I don't know. I'm up against something that I don't like to work with. Oh, just finish it. Just walk away. Okay? So understand that they wanted a taste. They don't know what goes into a relationship, and that was it. All right? I'm also going to stop to read some of your comments because this is where I get to interact with you. So please chat with me, talk to me. If you have a question you definitely want me to see, please put it in super chat. Okay. Hi, Philly, sending love from Sweden. Mido, Sweden. Hi, honey. Are you now Philly? Okay, love. So nice to see you here. And Sia, I'm thankful. Glad you are too. I love the fact that you all talk to each other. I've watched your, oh, is Jonathan still here? I think he checked out. He was here so my buddy Jonathan asked, like, people tend to put us together like bookends. I think I'm older than Jonathan. I'm pretty sure. But I think we have both lived long enough where we remember relationships, and we remember what it's like to have civil comportment. We remember what it's like to be respectful. We remember what it's like to date intentionally. And for many of the younger generations coming about now, I'm so sorry, all of you are in the middle of a shitstorm. But take heart. Okay, remember, it's not me, it's you. And you will find your group. I don't care if I have to scream it until I'm 85. I will be saying it over and over again. Don't give up your value system. Don't give up your ideals. Don't give up your goals. Do not amend yourself downward to adjust to the time period of inferior people who cannot do what you do. If you do, because I made that mistake when I was doing the research and dating players. I amended downward, downward, downward to adjust to them. And every time I went downward, I got less and less. So I kept thinking, I want the cake, then I got a piece, then I got a crumb, then I didn't even get the cake. It's just like you will miss the people who are rising to the top. It's more than you think. The turn of the tide. There's only so much dating trauma that society can take. Eventually, the tide turns because people either say, nope, I give up. I'm not doing this anymore. This is abuse to me. Or they give up or modulate their behavior and really get specific and say, if it doesn't have this, 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 and this, and I don't feel happy, healthy, and secure, I don't care. I'm not even doing it. And then everything changes. So here we go. Thank you. Let's see. Everybody's talking to each other. Mito is here. Hey, Susan, what are your thoughts on kiss at the end of the first date? Just went on one date, was a great date, got a kiss at the end too fast. Does it show disinterest, not going for it? This is very, very individual. It is very individual. Did you feel attraction to the person? That a kiss on the first date, the person who gives it, is normally the person that wants a silent cue that you're interested in date number 2. That's like the confirmation. Okay, if they kiss me, I'm kind of got my foot in the door, so I'll continue. Don't ever kiss somebody if you're not ready. If you are ready, and if you want to make out with them, do that. I've got girlfriends that do that. I'm a little more reserved. You don't, what I am, I would not, I don't want anybody to take an example of an existing person and make it work for them. It's just an option. We are each different, and we have different experiences, different generational experiences, different time frames. You don't have to do what I do. I'm not ever going to advocate that. That's the point is for you to find what is comfortable for you. And in figuring that out, I don't want you to feel forced into doing that. If you like them, but you're not ready to kiss them, I'd say, I do like you. I'd like to see you again. For me, I just kind of hold back on the physical, just until I know you better. Or if you want to kiss them and make out with them and slam them against the wall and really kiss them and see if there's a lot of chemistry, go for it. Individual. I don't think it means one thing or another. Okay? Let's see. Okay, so 1, they never intended on staying. 2, they just wanted a taste. 3, they were seeing others the whole time. Now, I understand in modern dating, we don't need to exclude everybody and just see one person, but you could be with somebody that is so involved in dating others that you were just another person and somehow you got lost in the shuffle, which means in general that they never intended on staying. They were just part of the carousel. All right, so you can't take that personally, all right? Then number 4, they weren't really single. We erroneously assume that if somebody is asking for our time and attention and really coming on to us and telling how much they want a relationship, we can oftentimes assume they are single. And worse yet, I have girlfriends who have brought their partner out to meet all of their friends. The partner said that they were divorced. The partner said that they were done, or the partner said that they were entering a divorce and lived separately from their wife, and kept this story up for a year before my friends found out they were not divorced, they were still married and lived together. Now, this happens most easily if your partner is out of town, because oftentimes you can't really track that stuff. But you may want to, when you're dating somebody new, ask basic questions like, are you single? Are you currently married? I just need to know. Oh, you're married. Where are you in the process, the divorce process? Oh, I'm sorry, you're not divorced. Okay. And I know this sounds like we shouldn't have to ask it, but you're going to have to ask it. So they were never single. And if you're seeing somebody you've met online and they fall by the wayside, they give you a work number, they give you a number, they're not always there, they're not reachable on the weekends, you might have never thought to ask, by the way, are you single? Because they might have said, I'm looking for a loving, committed relationship. And you went under the assumption that they're there for the right reasons. So there may be a lot you don't know. All right. Methuselah, I don't ever kiss on first dates and disclose this. That being said, one man tried kissing me anyway. I dodged his kiss and his face landed in my chest instead. Awkward. Well, lucky for him, but still. It's an individual call. So we all have to just do what's best for us. That's the best advice, Susan, on the kiss. Thank you, LaDonna. I appreciate that. And again, all of you decide what's good for you. Let's see. We're in Italy and we're used to seeing one person at a time. This is a huge misconception for the warm, emotionally open Mediterranean countries. I had a partner that was from Spain, all right? And we were parejas. We were together as a couple. And I thought, I'm thinking Ibiza and all the people and, the warm, the sexy Italian guys in the Mediterranean. He said, no, we're with somebody until we're not. And I thought, well, that would be easier. It was like that at one time here. But thank you for bringing this up. I'm speaking to you from America, but thankfully I have an international audience. So it balances out our concept of what's happening in relationships. And I appreciate this. Great topic as always. I'm so discouraged by online dating, as you should be. It is treacherous. You might as well be doing one of those survivor courses. It is. It's like emotional survivor. I think it has changed a lot during the last couple of years. Now people ghost right and left and lack a natural curiosity. So depressing. Yes. My girlfriend Barb had been offline for a couple years, maybe 4. Went back online and said, oh my God. The first people that came on to her, I said, those are con artists. Those aren't real. They must have thought she liked German guys. They had one German guy after the next. I'm like, dude, you got this so wrong. She's white blonde. She's all about dark men. So she likes her absolute opposite. And she hit one con artist after the next and romance scammer, and then people that ghost. And I remember her doing online dating. I get my friends to do it for me because honestly, I'm not going to do this stuff. If I have to for research, and I think I'm really amiss on information you guys need, I will definitely do it. Get in, get out. I'll get the information, get in and get out. But she said, Susan, they chat me up, they leave, I get excited, then they bail. It's very frustrating. Jillian. Okay, Jillian is saying, hi to everyone. Susan, you saved me from my phobo ex, and I will forever be indebted to you. Well, Reagan, thank you so much. Regan, from my phobo. Okay. What is that again? A phobo is a hobo. What? Wait, what's a phobo? Is this, wait, somebody else had a hobo. There were a boyfriend that didn't have a home. Explain what it is. Okay. What is the phobo? Just write it for me, okay? Let's see. I wrote you in this situation. Okay. Yes, I'm Max. I wrote to you months ago. I was in a situationship that suddenly found me unattractive. Glad to see you again, Susan. Listen, I apologize if I did not make your videos. Many of you, I have your videos made and they're in a vault of already edited and you just haven't seen them yet. So I may need to quicken my pace and put out 2 a week as I used to. I can't answer every single one. I think I remember this, but it doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to cut to the end. I have a progression here, but you can't sleep with somebody or kiss them or pursue them and then suddenly think, oh, I'm not attracted. It doesn't happen like that. It doesn't. It is something else. That's not true. None of you are going to go after, pursue, or accept dates from people that you are unattracted to. This is why I don't bother telling you to look for hot or look for attractive. I don't, because I know you're not going to do that to yourself. You can't. This is romance is sexual. I mean, eventually it's sexual, right? This is not something we have to figure out. It's going to happen. It should be the dessert, not the appetizer, but there's something that just doesn't make sense to me. And I might have written you back at the time. Sometimes people write me for a video request and I'm so disturbed by what they say. And I'm probably not going to make a video about it, but what I do is I get back to them right away. So that's why I'd always have people check their spam and give me a real email address. Okay. All right. So they weren't single. Okay. Again, 1, they never intended on staying. 2, they just wanted a taste. 3, they were always seeing others. And, you were just someone in the whole collective. 4, they weren't single. 5, there could be lifestyle differences. And this means anything from they are super sporty. And every weekend they want to be going on a bike ride for 120 miles. And you ride a bike, but that's not your thing. And their vision of what they wanted is not what they got in you. So it's a lifestyle difference. And I see this Nafthuza. Hi, honey. I think you have a super chat from me. Member for 9 months. I love you, my dear. When someone loses interest in me, I assume they simply have bad taste. Love that. I love that. Yes. Nafthuza. Okay. I learned that validation is a power that one should keep for themselves. Yes. Keep it. Absolutely. I love this. For any of you that are worried, read this again. It might not have been a match. I thank you for that, hon. I really, really do. So here's the thing. You could have lifestyle differences in your hobbies, in your interests. Maybe they love e-games, or maybe they love gaming. And you have played games, but you're not you don't want to, your idea of a great weekend with your partner is not to sit and watch them play video games. In that case, you could have somebody perfectly attractive that you think is interesting when you're on a date with them. But in their day-to-day living of their lifestyle, it's not right for you. And they recognize that maybe you're the one who's trying to make it work, like, well, but they're a really great guy, they're a really great girl, and you're trying to make it work for yourself. But ultimately, the two of you are not on par with your lifestyle. They could have a tremendous interest in opera. You couldn't care less about opera. You may want, I don't know, rock concerts or something, or they have something besides hobbies. It could be their affinity for drugs and alcohol. Now, this has been the downfall for me in many of my relationships. I meet somebody in the gym, perfectly well-mannered, great, successful, all of that, but they're on tequila straight up number 3 in the first 45 minutes that we're together. And you know what's even more frightening than that? There's no change in their personality, which means to me, one who grew up in an alcoholic home, you are a big drinker because you don't get tipsy. This is like you're just starting your night. I can't flow there. And maybe, to be honest, some of you have been with somebody that has an addiction, drugs or alcohol, and to be honest, you're not addicted enough to be with them. No one ever talks about this online or in YouTube. They don't. How many times have I met somebody only to discover later the reason that they blew me off or whatever had nothing to do with me? They needed to go home and get high. And they just knew that I didn't do drugs, so they didn't want to tell me. And then finally we come around to it, and I'm like, oh, dude, we were never, we're very attracted to each other. We like each other. Again, I meet them in an environment where that is not reflected, okay? Also, if you're in a long-term relationship and you find that your partner has a real love affair with a drug or with alcohol, and you don't, they can't stay with you. Be really clear on that. They cannot be with you because you make them feel uncomfortable as to their usage. So that is huge, and none of you take a look at it. You never factor that in. You're just like, oh yeah, I know they drink a lot, but no. If you're not a huge drinker, they're going to feel terrible being around you. They're afraid you're going to count drinks. They're afraid that you're going to, like they can't really tie one on in comfort. Anybody who drinks and who's been through that, any of you in recovery, know, before you quit, right? You were really uncomfortable with teetotalers because you wanted to tie one on and you didn't want them stopping you or making you feel weird. So we need to discover that piece of it too. And thank you so much for this. I think there's another Naftusa here. Oh, Sahara. Okay, did I miss anybody? Ooh, I think there's a lot of commentary here. What do we have here? Fear of better offer. Phobo, thank you so much for this, Regan. Wow. If you are out of it, this is great. Okay, sometimes we grab onto stuff that is not right for us. And wow, we think something else isn't coming around. Sahara, $4.99. Hi, Susan, please advise. A man that critiques you, called me fat, said I'm 0 out of 10, yet wants to be with me. I finally left him. Okay, 1, you did the right thing. 2, there's a lot more going on here, okay? Anybody that says those things but wants to be with you is unwell, okay? I'm sorry, but you gotta say it like it is. That's cruel and inexcusable behavior. It is impolite. It is not civil comportment. It is horrific. Nobody would say that. So there is something deeply disturbed within this person to tell you that. And it normally comes from somebody who wants to take you down a peg because they think you're better than they are. I know it normally seems like it is what it is, but trust me, I've lived long enough to know that anybody that vindictive feels threatened. And that you just run like hell. Anybody who goes through that, you run like hell. If you don't even need to figure it out. Unhealthy, mean, nasty, cruel, don't want to know them. Is it true? I really think they're intimidated by you. For some reason, I don't know. You have a better job, you have a better family, better social standing, you are a nice person. They're not. They're just insecure, okay? That's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Let me see what else is here. Somebody asked a question. Is it possible to get back with someone after 30 years? He has biological adult kids as well as step adult kids. I don't think they want him dating. His second wife died 2 years ago. Too messy. I have known people that have written me. I wrote something for Huffington Post a long time ago about first love. I don't even remember the title of it, but it's in my articles. If you go to susanwinter.net and open up the articles, it's in a subcategory that says Huffington Post. I have all the Huffington Post. I have all the older women, younger men stuff. And the fellow wrote me. He was a musician, wrote a song, motivated from what I told him, what I had written, okay? And he reconnected with his first love long time ago. He was much older. He was in his 50s. They both went through a marriage or a couple of relationships, found their way to each other, and he sent me their wedding photos. Okay. So it is possible. Every relationship has something messy. There's what you already know, and there's what you find out that you didn't know. If you think, don't make a decision out of desperation. If you think that you need to research this person and you've had them in that maybe bucket for all this time, like, oh my gosh, that could have been the one, you do need to, for yourself, to just clear the table. You need to go investigate. You'll find out if it's too messy. They don't want him to date. They probably, adult kids don't want their money to be disturbed. That's normally what it is. Okay. I mean, we are really talking straight here. Okay. Adult children worry deeply about another marriage where somebody could come in and spend what they hope to be their inheritance. I know maybe they're worried about their mother or father. They think, oh my goodness, they're a mark, or they're worried that the person will take it for themselves. Okay. So there we go. Oh, you sweet Susan is truly amazing. We love you. We love you, Gwyneth. Um, Hi, Susan. How do you express anxieties as a man in a dating situation? If someone you are dating is passionate in person but avoidant in text, it feels expressions like that are counterproductive. If you can pretty much see them all the time, you're not going to have a problem. I would, in a case like this, if you really think that this is somebody you get along with in real life, I would use texting to just be logistics. Are you, here's the restaurant. You want to meet at 10 o'clock. I'm coming to see you. Do you want me to bring dinner? Stuff like that. I don't know what their deal is with texting, but if you're getting the real person in full when you see them, that's what's important. Okay, so let me go on. If you have something in Super Chat and you desperately want me to read it, please put it in, and I'm going to continue. Okay, so we heard about the lifestyle differences. Okay, and please, please, please consider this. Remember, when you're dating somebody online or you've just met somebody, there's a lot you don't know. You don't know what they do when they leave you. And people never think about drugs and alcohol, that they present themselves as one way to be engaging to you, but go home and have a whole different, they even have a different crowd they hang out with. I asked one player once why he didn't include me. So I think I saw him on the street. I mean, I knew he was a player. But my feelings were hurt when I saw him walking down the street with another girl. So I called him. I said, like, what's up with that? And this guy has been in my life since that time. We're talking 2004. Okay. We're talking almost 20 years. He was my power of attorney when I've had major surgery recently. Okay. Because I know he's going to show up. He's going to be there. He's my Ray Donovan. He's got my back, and I know it. So I asked him what was going on. He said, Susan, I'm not ashamed of you. My God, I'm ashamed of my friends. I don't want you to see who I hang out with. Yeah. So we never think about that. All right, onward. They compartmentalize you. This kind of relates to number one and number two. They've got you in, so they've got their life, and then they've got their I want to have sex life. And somehow they have not integrated for themselves the people they're dating into their real life. There are people, and I want to talk about this because I think I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about him. I'm going to talk about my Westminster show dog, a person, a model, beautiful man, model, international model, famous guy. Dated him for. This is going to be a quick 7-8 months. Okay, vastly different lifestyles. Got along very well, but vastly different lifestyles. And his true love affair was alcohol. Okay, but I want to talk to you about. He's going to go under the basket of sexual variety and preferences. Now, this is another part of dating and why they lost interest or why you lose interest in them. It's both ways. How you choose to express yourself and what you enjoy doing naturally for you, not as a performance for them, could be different. Their thing is different than your thing. And you can't quite get that piece together. Like it works, but it's not 100%. And then, of course, if they're just cruising for somebody that's sexual, then that's going to be the dominant piece. This doesn't mean you're bad in bed. It means it's different. I told you about the guy that I was dating that was so beautiful, and he would never work north of the foot. He had a foot thing. I'm not getting involved with somebody that will only adore my feet. That is not what I call a rewarding relationship. That's a no-go. For somebody that likes that, that's perfect. There is a partner for that person, not me. And there is a partner for him, not me. I had another partner, the Westminster show dog, glossy, shiny, pretty, famous, a model, very successful. And I call him that because I think he played the part of being a boyfriend. I don't think he was present to the actual experience. And this goes deeper than the sexuality. There are people who play the role of your date. It's like a facade that they put on. I've actually met them. They say, yeah, I know when I'm at work, I play somebody at work. And then when I'm off duty, I play the boyfriend. It's like they put on a costume. They're not really there. And you won't be able to connect to them. And really, they won't be able to connect to you. So whether you lose interest in them or they lose interest in you, it kind of cuts both ways, all right? Now, sexual variation. They may be into something you got no interest in. My poor friend was saddled with somebody that was a furry. No judgment about furries, but that's not his thing. So they were not a match. Like this girl a lot. But when this came out of the bag, that's a and that's a no-go. There was somebody else. Okay, so the Westminster show dog. Also, he's never going to see this. It was what I can only define as geriatric sex. Lovely man. I nearly fell asleep. I think it was meant to be tender lovemaking, but because he wasn't there and I couldn't find him through the costume of the, I'm so pretty, I'm so wonderful, I'm so famous, I couldn't find him. There was no lovemaking that was going to happen. And I was just, wake me up. It was geriatric. It was so slow, I couldn't stay awake. Now, this does not mean that I need to jump around the room and perform athletics. It just meant there's not a connection. This may be the same for you. Now, your partner may not tell you this. Your partner may not have the courage to say to you, yeah, I want to really put a ball gag in your mouth and I want to beat you and stuff like this. I had a friend, her guy pulled this out 4 months into the relationship when he got her to his apartment in another city and opened up his special closet. She was like, oh dear. Okay. So there's what you know and what you don't know. And your form of intimate expression doesn't always work. In an early stage of a relationship where people aren't expressing much, or you haven't done your due diligence, or they haven't been forthright, they might sense that what they want to do is not what you want to do, and they get enough clear indications that they pull away. Nothing is bad and wrong with you, doesn't mean you're unattractive, doesn't mean you're undesirable. It means the two of you are on a different wavelength, all right? Now, let's see, $10. Now, thumbs up. Hi, darling. I'm going on dates, and one of the first things that makes me lose interest is in authenticity. I know. Can't be bothered faking my interest while I'm told how amazing they are and how perfect their life is. They're just intimidated, okay? Um, have you ever tried telling somebody, I know there are a lot of successful people out there, but that's not really what turns me on. I want to hear about you, really you. What do you love in life? Why do you get up in the morning? What values do you hold? I mean, maybe you could redirect this so that they're not doing the presentation. You I've followed a lot of what you have to say, and I think they just get scared around you and probably feel like I don't have a shot with her, so I've got to really, men, it's a hard thing. Men and women, we feel like we have to impress each other, and we feel like we have to when we're insecure and or really wanting approval, we can up the salesmanship, which then makes us look insecure. And I understand that, and I know that you get a lot of that. And I thank you so much, honey, for this contribution. I really do. Let me see. I don't want to lose anybody. If I've lost anybody in here, I think I'm doing everything right. Okay, there's this. There's Nathusa. Okay, and I got to Sahara. Thank you. Wow, Sahara, horrible, horrible person. Let me see. Stacy Brown, thank you, Susan, for bringing up the addiction aspect. Yes, nobody talks about this. Could be the other way. Someone who has recovered from an addiction is triggered by a potential partner having a drink or two. Yes, some people in recovery cannot, some people are able to integrate totally, and others need to be very aware for their sobriety of people, places, and things, which means if you love to go dancing and love to go to clubs, and you're maybe a moderate drinker, but clubs are where they did their coke, or clubs are where they did their whatever, then they can't have that experience with you. And rather than telling you you can't do this because you're healthy, they will lose interest in you. And maybe but hopefully they will tell you, this triggers me, so I can't do this. Let me see what else. The right person would never want to hurt you. That's right. Thank you for this, Jillian. She's talking to Sahara. If they do, it's inadvertent. And once you let them know, they apologize quickly and strive to be better. That person is out there for you. Thank you, my dear. 000. Okay. I'm currently dating a girl, is amazing and checks all the boxes. She's completely opposite of my BPDX. Okay. Well, okay, good. The only complaint I have is my current girlfriend and I are not sexually compatible. And that's the thing. Are you comfortable talking about it? And are you comfortable? And I think it could be a number of things. It could be that person's trust level with you. If it's a new relationship, but somebody really likes you, oftentimes they don't have the safety to go where you want to go. I have oftentimes seen couples, and this is straight and gay, okay, want their partner to experience something that they like, that their partner is not into. And rather than push them or make them feel inferior, I think oftentimes they need to make them feel safe in the relationship. Because I've noticed when people feel truly safe with their partner, knowing that they're with them, no harm will come to them, that they can always say, I don't like this, or start. If it's exploring new realms of expression, that safety and trust means I might want to venture into an area that's uncomfortable, but I absolutely know you're by my side. So maybe it's a new relationship. And if it's not, then you have to figure out, look, we're talking about romance. So we have to have sex that's good, right? How good is, again, where we get in trouble, because now we've got 100% circle. How important is sex to you? Is it so important that you're willing to give up your sanity for hot sex? What we're looking for, you are doing great in your moderation of where you came and where you are now. So I'm going to guess the last girlfriend was really over the top, great sex and a lot of drama. This one is no drama, really cool. You're not feeling that excitement. And then I think the question is too, did the chaos in the last relationship make you feel kind of excited too? Yeah, there's always that makeup sex where they're just so nuts. And then finally, that's the cohesion. So thank you for that. That's a very good point. You have to decide what's most important for you, and you have to have really honest discussions and make sure that both you and your partner are safe and comfortable to express what you really want to try and what you don't want to try and what works and what doesn't. All right. Now, the last thing, I've got the last three things. I'm going to clear the deck and then we're going to go because we're almost at the end of the hour. Okay. Intellectual differences and growth-minded people, okay? A growth mindset. You could be with somebody that you just blow their fuse, or their perception of you is that you're way too intellectual, way too difficult, way too cultured, way too something or other, where they feel a little stupid around you, or they feel uninformed. If I were with all political analysts, I'd probably be just lost. Half the time that people bring up names, I've been so entrenched in this business dealing with everybody's emotions, I don't know what these names are. And now that I'm not in the business world anymore, I oftentimes miss who the founders are of companies, new companies. I don't know them by name. Then I go to Core Club, my club here in New York, and then they're mentioning these names, and I'm like, I look like an idiot. It's not that I am. Now, I have the kind of disposition where I would love to say to my mate, dude, there's a lot I don't know. I want to learn from you. Please continue to talk about this because it's been ages since I've read the Wall Street Journal. Okay? So please talk about this. But some people feel inferior. If everybody I knew, I don't know. It's like if they had a specialty area, your partner only plays chess. And again, that goes into the hobbies. But if your partner, and they're not going to tell you, right? A charismatic personality has nothing to do with intelligence. That's an emotional skill set. So you can be with somebody that looks at you and you're just, Nathusa, too big, too much, too sophisticated, too cultured, too intelligent, too forward thinking, too something. Where they feel like less, they'll pull away to go to where they feel comfortable. All right? And again, it has nothing to do with you being less attractive. In this case, you're too much. Number 9, partnership skills. Okay? You're too much. You know too much. You know to call them on their shit, and they don't like it. They can't get away with anything with you. They don't want to be with you because you know the difference. You know when they're lying. You know when they're deflecting. You know when they're trying to gaslight you. They don't get to play their game. In that case, it's not about you being undesirable or unattractive. You just know their game. And now you're no fun to play with because you're not going to be the mark. You're not the patsy. You're a real opponent, and you kind of blow their whole game. So no, they don't want to be with you if you have too much psychological information, if you know what's going on. All right? And the very last thing, couples goals. What they envision experiencing in a relationship, they can't see with you. Can't see it. Whether it is that you want children and they're like, I think I want that sometime in the future, but I'm like, but that's really your thing, then they will pull away from you. And you may not have been involved long enough for them to even bother to tell you. And this is what really sucks, because you have to tell your truth in order to filter out who is right for you. And when they fall off the conveyor belt of the little prospective partners, then oftentimes you think they did it because you're not attractive, you're not good enough in bed, you're not interesting, you're not pretty enough, you're not handsome enough, whatever. You're going to think it's a lack of desirability. or that you have a defect. Something is not enough with you. And it could just be that you're too much of what you are, right? But that your goals are not the same. If they tell you, that helps. But most of you are dating people who are not going to tell you anything, okay? They're just going to pull away for one of those 10 reasons. So this is why before you automatically think, I'm defective, I'm undesirable, nobody wants me, what do I have to do? I need to keep improving myself. People like yourself that come on channels like this, and any of you that are still listening 50 minutes into the hour, I know you want to know. You are working on yourself. This is not about you. This is where we have to say to ourselves, in Susan philosophy, you fell off the conveyor belt for a reason. You didn't tell me what the reason is. I didn't know you well enough. I went to the automatic assumption that I'm not desirable. I know that's my go-to. That's the human go-to. But let me just think what that chick Susan said. Maybe it's one of those other 10 reasons, okay? Because I want you to factor them in. Don't just assume automatically there's something less than desirable about yourself, all right? Do I have any date for data? I love that, Susan. Let's see. Okay, if we did this with that, anybody else? Anybody else? If they're looking for physical pleasure, they usually go for women who are easy to manipulate and fool. I would take their disinterest as a compliment. Yes. Okay, I love intelligence in a woman. Will, we love you for saying that. So you understand, everyone, okay? This is our normal, natural go-to. And when you dump somebody or you pull away, because it goes both ways, they're going to assume there's something wrong with them. If they are aggressive, like the ones that get reactive with Naphthusa, or maybe they get aggressive with you, they can be very mean because they feel threatened and their ego is wounded. I think if you are rejecting somebody, I would consider carefully something they can never do or do not want and make it that your reason. Like, dude, I'm sorry, I like you a lot, but I love dogs and you hate them. I think you're super great, but I can see you, we can hang out a bit, but as far as something going further, dogs are my life, so I got to have one. And I don't want to make you uncomfortable. And there are a lot of people that don't want them. So, whatever. Okay. Or I am a hiker. I have to hike. I have to be outdoors. I don't want to be in an opera hall. I don't want to be in a lecture or an auditorium. I don't want to be inside on a Saturday playing a video game. I'm crazy about you, but let's be honest. In the world of people, we might be better allies in helping each other find a date. So oftentimes you'd be surprised. You can flip these people. If you're not too far into the relationship already, you can flip them to say, an elegant out is often, you know what? Because I did this a lot. I was dating for data long before I even knew the term that I eventually used later. But I did that because this is when I did 98 dates in 9 months, but I was actually trying to find a partner, but I was still in love with my young ex. And he was full-blown paranoid schizophrenia. And we were he was non-compliant with his meds anyway. It's a big story. But I was genuinely looking, and I was set up on dates with men I did not know. And I went out to dinner, and I begged them not to take me to dinner. I didn't want to take their money. I begged them just for coffee. And these were lovely guys. Not for me. Totally not for me. But I said, I normally, I don't have a problem with degrading myself in their eyes to save their ego, because I really don't care. So I remember saying to one guy, look, I know a much better version of me, better for the country club, better for you. She knows how to cook. She's a lovely lady. She's sophisticated, speaks multiple languages. And I think the two of you are a better match. I'm a little wild and like, I wrote myself off as whatever he didn't want. They were together for about a year and a half. I didn't want him. I didn't care. But at that point, I was trying to preserve his ego. And, that was more important to me. So I said whatever I had to say to get out of it. If I know it's not right, I don't want to make them feel terrible about it, but I will call out something that's really obvious, a difference, and then try to assist them. Again, you don't do this with somebody you've slept with, okay? I remember a player a long time ago, before I knew what a player was, when I got burned with this guy that was like, oh, I'm crazy about you. I'll wait till you come back from your trips, blah, 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 blah. And then I guess he'd had enough of me, and he said, so I want to introduce you to my cousin Laszlo. And I thought, you're going to pass me on to a cousin? I was so offended. So no, don't do it after you've had sex with them. Do it on the first couple of dates when you know you don't want them. Anybody else? Do you have any questions before we log off? And Gwyneth, thank you so much for manning this all by yourself. Bees at a dental conference. I want you all to know the merch line, we have put out a notification on Upwork. I want people, we're going to do the last 4 or 5. We're going to have them all out the way we want them. So far, this is the one I like the best. And then I have new designs for the other quotes that we have, but we are kind of making sure that they all work. And I need people that really are good with this to translate what I think is good in a Canva design looks completely different on a t-shirt or on a mug. So we're getting specialists, so I'm excited about that. That's going to be all finalized this summer. I want you to know I'm in New York now. I'm hoping if you come to New York this summer, this is being recorded in May of 2023, please consider meeting me in person. I do a 3-hour in-session. You'll be at the Core Club with me. It is magnificent. It is. I do that just for you, so I can bring you there. It is a lovely experience. We will be by ourselves. We will share a little meal. We can do a deep dive, one and done. It's a beautiful experience. Also, if you want a consultation, I still have times. I am working pretty much now with celebrities, and I mean to say I love all my clients. I don't care. I've got school teachers. I've got firefighters. I have movie stars, I have professional athletes, I have politicians. The astounding thing to me is that the more celebrities I work with, the fewer are asking me for an NDA. And I thank them for that. They know I'm not ever going to reveal their stuff. It dies with me, okay? That is between you and me, and I thank that group for that. But I work with everybody. So if you want a consultation, please, there aren't as many times available because I'm busy working on other projects and I'm busy enjoying my life. I am trying to integrate enjoying my life. So I'm taking time to do stuff for me, which I have not done for almost 15 years. But I want to work with you. If you see a time that you like, do not hesitate. They go very quickly. So there aren't as many. Please consider a consultation. One and done. I don't want to sign you up on an individual and clear you and get $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 out of you. I can probably do it in 45 minutes to an hour and at least start the ball going. So do not suffer in silence. Make a commitment to yourself. Also, those of you who are members of this club, thank you so much for your ongoing showing up every week. I know that 2 o'clock Eastern, a lot of you are working. I understand that many of you see this in the replay. You're from all over. I love my international audience. I will be in Singapore doing a meet and greet in 2025. I believe it'll be January, so I'll be on a cruise, so I'll let you know. And I plan on being in Dubai for a meet and greet in November of 2024. But I'll keep updating all of you on that. And for those of you that have ever written me a video request, you've gone into the automatic pile for my newsletters. I only send newsletters monthly and a one-off if it's a special notification. I'm doing a special collection for older women, younger men. with Retrieve, just like I did with dating games. So please let me know what I can do for you. Continue to send your video requests. I'm going to spend a little more time upping videos. I think I'm going to crank them out a little bit sooner or do more on the iPhone for you all. And I thank you for all of your support. And I thank Gwyneth and Bea for being wonderful, wonderful moderators. And the fact that you show up here every week, those of you who've taken my group classes, I will be having those again. I prefer to do those when I'm in Arizona and I'm much more relaxed. There's no social life I worry about here. Here, I'm actually very busy. And I will be doing a masterclass on breakups. That will be in the works within the next 6 to 7 months, okay? So everyone, there's a lot more stuff coming, and I appreciate this. Carrie, thank you for this. I'm glad you liked the topic. Thank you for the support. Women love nice men. Yes, we do. Nice, good men do not finish last. They finish first with a quality partner that absolutely adores them. Unfortunately, they are also fodder for women who want to use them and hurt them. But learn quickly. Nice guys, learn quickly. You are at the apex of what we want. You must know that and always filter for the woman who truly appreciates what you have to offer. We cannot afford to lose one good man. We cannot afford to lose one good woman. Okay? Everyone, I will see you next week. Adore you. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. And Jillian, who pops in, even though she's working, all of you, Insia, great to have you back again. Nicoletta, so happy to have you here. All of you, thank you so much, my members. Mwah. Love all of you. See you next Thursday. Okay, everyone. Bye-bye. Again, remember, just say, it's not me, it's you. Okay? Bye, everyone.